Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat here in the Inside Lowell Studios. I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. So excited to have my two guests on with us today. We have Neftaly Medina.
Yes.
Close enough?
Yes.
Pretty
That was
good?
good.
Correct me if you
No,
need
it's
to.
right. Neftaly,
Okay. From Animal Kitchen Catering and Michelle Rivera. I have UNITAS down, but like
I think everyone knows
from
it's
everywhere.
Michelle Rivera.
Michelle, you're kind
okay.
of like Madonna.
Oh my God, is that a compliment?
Yes, it's like people just know you and like I'm so excited to have you
Well,
both
from
here.
Michelle Sin Nombre, Unitas, real estate, community, it's all good. My name is my name.
Film festival.
Film
like,
festival, yeah. Parrandong. Yeah. That's why we have
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So I actually heard about Neftaly's expertise in catering, and we had our first, well, it's actually our second annual Latino Christmas Gala, which is El Parrandón Navideño, and it's held during Christmas time. So we held our first one back in 2012, and just, life takes its course, and then we had COVID and all that good stuff, right? But we brought it back. And so in relaunching it, we actually invited Neftaly to be the caterer for our event, and it was phenomenal.
That must have been so much fun.
It was definitely an experience, something different. I used to something that I had to step out of my comfort zone for.
Mm-hmm.
Very nerve-wracking, especially for our culture. Christmas time, it's huge. So me knowing the pressure,
Yeah.
not that it was put on me, that I put on myself.
Yep.
I had to make sure I kind of nailed it. And at that point, it was literally just my wife, and people.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
a bit stressful.
Wow.
A bit stressful,
Yes.
but we managed. I think we did a pretty good job. Two of us.
And it was at UTEC?
It was at
Awesome.
UTEC. So it turned out to, work out really well because he has built some relationships in
Yes.
UTEC himself. So you want to share a little bit about that?
I had a little bit of relation with UTech. I've done like family outside meetings for them. I've catered a few of their meetings, but I think that kind of gave me a real step forward.
Yeah.
Now, I'm use their kitchen whenever need be. I'm very in with UTech. I know I've talked to Chris and Leslie, kind of trying to work around what I can do for my schedule.
Yeah.
Kind of be a little bit more hands on with them, helping the kids, kind of teach them more, not just the cooking aspect, but the reality of what's to come after that.
Yes.
Exactly, like if that's what they want to do with themselves, what to expect. Because being behind UTech is one thing, but once you're outside in that real world, the pressure is insane. It's a lot to deal with. So just giving them that guidance of proper cooking temperatures and this how things have to go, your sanitation, all your allergies, which is huge.
Yes.
That's something I would like to kind of take a next step with UTech doing that.
That's incredible. What makes you want to mentor these kids and show them that path?
I think it's just me having the background I have. I didn't have a bad upbringing. I grew up with my grandparents who were huge, did anything that was for me, but I kind of took a left.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a lot of inner anger I had with myself, having my parents around. So I decided to go somewhere else where I knew at least hash that out.
Yeah.
And it was, I seemed acceptable at that time, which is living that street life.
Mm-hmm.
So not having someone to be like, listen, just step back. This is what you need to do. So I feel like if I can give back that way, even if it's one person that I save, I've done my job since when it comes to that.
Become a mentor.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
And I think just having that history of background that I went through that life, I went through all that gang life. I ended up in jail for a few years. That can relate with a lot of these kids nowadays.
Yeah.
So the children, the youth, or the adolescents or young adults
Yes.
that you encounter, you have a relatable conversation, relationship, and they can actually say, he gets it.
Yeah.
He gets me. He understands me. So he's not just here to be here, like to, talk a
A
talk.
talking head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those kids,
the
because I
walk.
know I myself have had people, and when I was at that age, that state of mind, it's like, all right, well, you haven't been through it, so you can't really tell me how to get out of it. I should go through. And honestly, as you get older, you start thinking different. People, they were right.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't follow those steps doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about. But I feel that them kids probably have that same state of mind. Like they don't know. But if they sit down and talk to somebody who's been there, can show them. Listen, these are the scars I have. This is the like battles I have. Like I still deal with depression to this day. But when I feel like I'm getting into that kind of dark state of mind, because it still happens, that's when I turn to I cook and literally saved my life.
I was gonna ask you why cooking, why food?
It's one of those things. At first, when I first did it, it was just a job. Honestly, it was probation. It was like, you need a job. All right. Literally, first thing I came across.
Yep.
At first, it was just like, so probation, get off my back, to be honest.
Yeah,
But little by little,
it worked.
little by little, I started seeing that I was actually good at it. And I had one of my old kitchen managers, first when he was a kid, you're 16 years old. Because you're doing things that 30 years old in this kitchen. And little by little, I'd never been to culinary school. 100% self-taught.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I watched YouTube videos, going buying books, and be like, oh yeah, I can do this. Going to the store, buying stuff, come home. Trial and never, like they say.
Yeah.
So I felt it was right. It's been a blessing.
How has your culture integrated into your food you do?
I think with that, it's just food is huge in our culture. Very huge. Huge.
Significantly.
It's huge, especially around the holidays.
Mhm.
So last year, when I started doing this catering thing, I was like, you know what, around the holidays, Christmas, I was like, let me start putting plates on. And I probably sold close to 500. And
Wow.
it was just like a test. Like,
Yeah.
people knew I cooked. But I was like,
Right.
let's just see how far this goes.
That went far. You were like, oh my gosh, why did I do this?
Yeah, that's exactly my train of thought. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is tiring. But it helped. It helped in a huge.
Well, I'm sure it helped. Well, not only did it help build the business and get your name out there, but also confidence, I'm sure.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the fact that
Yeah, definitely.
that many people wanted to try your food.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because that's something I dealt with. A lot of it was like self-doubt.
Yeah.
And obviously that has it's a battle. It's things that wake up. But
Mhm.
it's a battle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, to some extent, everybody experiences that imposter syndrome, right? Where
Absolutely.
you do something and you wonder, oh my gosh, why me?
Oh, what am I doing? Can I do this?
Yeah. Will
Mhm.
people, believe in what I'm doing?
Mhm.
But I think the fact that you sold 500 plates and you said you were busy all summer. We were talking off air.
Oh yeah.
Every weekend last summer.
Every weekend, literally.
That's
Every
incredible.
weekend, from like his birthday parties to backyards, to 15s, pig roast.
That's how I found
Very,
out about
very
him
big
through
stuff.
social media. Because I knew of him,
Yeah.
but not much. But then
Yeah.
you see the posts and you see all the interaction with other mutual friends through Facebook,
Mhm.
and you're like, wait a minute, because I'm always down to interview Latinos because of El
Yeah,
Show
yes.
Sin Nombre. So I was always trying to bring all the Latinos in the shadows, bring them out to the light with whatever they were doing, whatever contribution they had for the community. And I seen him, I'm like, I'm going to interview him. And little did I know he was actually the caterer for El Parrandón, and he served actually more than 300 people because we had,
Yeah,
all
that's
the
right,
tables full. Then we
Yeah.
had the people that were actually, hosting, or the
Hosting.
band
Yeah.
and the bartenders. And so he actually catered to a lot more than 300 people, and everyone loved the food. And it was a traditional meal. But like he said, the pressure's on because we can also be very critical. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be the first to admit it. We're like, este arroz no estaba bueno. Or este pernil estaba so-so, meaning it's not good enough, the taste,
Yeah.
or the dessert. But everything he cooked and he prepared was right to the right spot
What's
on.
a traditional meal?
Traditional meal for us is obviously a pork shoulder.
Yeah.
Your rice and beans. You gotta have either potato salad, pasta salad to go,
Mhm.
and then dessert is a must.
Yep.
It's either what we call arroz con dulce, which is a
Mhm.
rice pudding. Take the rice, cook it with raisin, cinnamon, coconut milk, coconut cream, or flan, like a Spanish cheesecake,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Like a custard.
Yeah.
custard,
Yeah. Yeah.
custard.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's pretty much our traditional meal. But just knowing that that's our traditional meal, and me knowing the amount of people that are gonna be on, was like, I've done this plenty of times, but just the fact that it's
It's like having 300
it's-
judges
yeah,
in a row.
Exactly.
It is.
It's
It is.
exactly.
And well,
It's such a
because
big
it's a
thing, so
formal, right?
it's
Because it
very
was
formal,
formal,
yes.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna have all
Yes.
kinds of walks of people of coming
Yeah.
in. Some are gonna be cool, some are gonna be uptight, some are gonna, so you're like, but you're serving all of these people, and he did a great job. I heard nothing but compliments.
It's amazing.
But with all that being said, I also we have time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take this time to also discuss some of the things that I noticed that you accomplished, because you were in some competitions,
Yeah.
right? And you came out in a magazine and stuff like that. And I think that this is a great opportunity for him to share a little bit about that, right?
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I think the biggest competition would be Phantom Gourmet that we were speaking off here.
Yeah.
Last year, September 22nd. I was right in Baltimore. It was like the biggest food trailer is side. Probably like 5,000. It was. I received the email. I told you I looked at it.
Yeah.
I was like, my phone now kind of walked away. Back and I didn't even hear about it. I'm a small guy, home base. I rent out kitchens. Took a chance, sent my info in. The lady was like, "Listen, I'm gonna walk you through A through Z." She goes, "You be on the show." Did you? And Angel sent from absolutely. Like I'd never in a meal experience. We did about 2,000 plates in 3 hours. It was
That's amazing.
it was small samples.
You were worried about 300 people
Yeah.
and you did 2,000 plates.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So you're kind of underselling yourself here.
It was like little samples, 1 or 2 bites, but just the amount of like this is gonna be all over the news. It's gonna be on
Absolutely.
TV. It's gonna be Fan Gourmet, which who doesn't know Fan Gourmet?
And they approached
just-
you.
yes,
I mean,
just
I bet
knowing
you
that-
some people like their
Yeah.
goal would be to, get in touch with
Yeah,
Canterbury,
they
have them
reached out to me.
respond.
Yeah.
They reached out to you
Mhm.
after being in business for a year at that
Yeah, a
point.
little over a year. Yep. Like my anxiety, like
But it must have been a good rush. It was
oh,
like,
it was absolutely.
yeah.
It was absolutely like when I got there. Once I actually got there the day of, and we were starting setting up, I kind of got right doing this.
What did you serve?
Really doing it. So I ended up making something completely out the box. I took like mashed plantains and turned them into like little taco cups
Ooh.
and then stuffed them with like an avocado, cabbage, low cooked pork shoulder, pineapple salsa, sriracha sauce. It was even
bet.
the owners,
Sounds
of Fan
awesome.
of Gourmet, they was like, we've never seen. Like we're used to seeing like burger, pizza.
Yeah.
There's like you did it something we've never seen in over 10 years.
wow, that's
Amazing.
awesome. Yeah, that's
It was a blessing.
exciting.
It was awesome. It was definitely some experience.
If you ever have self doubts again, like think back to those
Think back to
moments,
that,
right?
yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
bank those memories.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what about the magazine?
The magazine. So I ended up doing Facebook Live with a friend of mine who was doing like his own like little podcast on Facebook, just trying to get himself out there.
Mhm.
So we did an interview on Facebook Live where I was cooking his show. Someone that follows him, actually watching the show.
Mhm.
She has her own magazine based out of Springfield called NVM Magazine. He reached out to me, set up a phone call. That came out November last year. Put me on the front page of the magazine. There was like a 5-page article.
Wow.
So that's exciting.
That's very exciting.
You know, a local man,
Yeah.
just started cooking because he was on probation. And now he's catered events and been on TV, on magazine. So I think that you need to, take a little credit for yourself.
Yeah,
you know,
I've been told that.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't
I've
don't
been told
don't
that.
undermine or undersell yourself. Not obviously, we all kind of put ourselves up against the wall sometimes and be like, am I really here, or can I really do this, or do I have the capacity? And sometimes, even though we can hear it from others, we can still have a little self-doubt. But I think that we actually have to reflect and stop that, because we can propel much faster and go much higher if we
Yes.
don't do
Yes.
that
and
to
lift each other
ourselves.
up, right?
Absolutely.
Which is what
I'm
you're doing.
really,
Yeah.
I'm really
Yeah.
big on that
Yes.
aspect of things, is lifting people up. But there was something else that I wanted to ask you. When did you actually start cooking? Because Latinos, we tend to this is about you, but I just have to kind of throw this in there too a little bit. I tend to do this, but it's not about me. But I started cooking at 10, right? Because we call it presentar,
Yeah.
nosy,
Yeah.
nosy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I like that. Presentar. You say
Presentar.
everything so much nicer. Neftaly, presentar.
So it's when my grandmother was cooking, ¿qué tú haces? And my mother is cooking, what's that? That's what ¿qué tú
Yeah,
haces
yeah.
means, And, I was married for 18 years. So everything my ex-husband's mother did, I was like, oh, what's that? Well, that tastes good. Oh, I want to learn how to make that. So all the time you see elders cooking and you watch and then you apply.
Yeah.
You don't go to school. You don't take lessons. You don't measure. We don't measure.
We don't measure.
Like, we don't
A little bit
measure.
of this, a little
A
bit of
little
that.
bit of
It's
tiempo,
good, yeah.
calor, sazón, una
Yeah.
cuchara, eso frito,
Yeah.
no, that's too much salsa, and we're just cutting things up
The
and we're
spoon
just throwing
stands up straight, you
it
got
in.
enough water.
That's
Yeah.
correct. If the spoon falls, there's not balance with water and
Yeah.
rice. That's just it's
Oh, that's good to know.
it's not
I'm
gonna
a
come
big
out.
rice and beans girl. So
It's not gonna
that's
come
very
out
good to
right. It's gonna be too mushy or too dry or
Right.
whatever, you know. So all those little things, it was watching. And so, you know, by the time I went off on my own, I was cooking up a storm. And when I was married, I chefed it up. I entertained
up.
all
She
the
chefed it
time,
up.
all the time. And, you know, not for nothing, but a lot of people enjoy my cooking. I'm not saying that I cook now. I don't do a lot of that today. Today I pick up the phone and call a lot of people and say, hey, this is what's going on. You interested? So for example, you know, for parrandon, I was not going to cook, obviously. So we have a professional cook and we do that. So getting back to the question, when did you actually start cooking? Because even for you to take that job at probation, you knew a little bit of something to apply
I
it.
did, yeah. So my grandfather was a chef, and I was raised by he was
There
a
you
chef.
go.
And
Oh,
I never really
wow.
I didn't get into the kitchen as much as we normally do to be hands on. It was just me kind of watching him and seeing how he held the knife, seeing how he cut things, seeing how he seasoned. So I had a little bit of knowledge mentally in my head when I took this job on. When I actually started being really hands on, that's when I actually got really hands on. So 15.
Wow.
You see, most of the time that when they start cooking, they start young.
Yeah.
They do. They typically do. If you're 25 and you're gonna start trying to chef it up, there's probably gonna be a lot of burnt food
I'm dying at the table right now.
or not so flavorful
Yeah.
because we're big on flavor.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
we're big on flavor.
Are there like specific spices
My
that you?
biggest things would be adobo,
Mhm.
sofrito, and the sazon.
Yeah.
But I use a lot of different spices that are typically not traditional. I feel that's what differentiates me from other people.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of people that will stick to the tradition stuff as far as seasoning. You can still cook it traditionally,
Correct.
or you can add other spices to
Yep.
it.
It helps you
That's-
stand out.
That's something that I'm
Yeah.
huge. Like I've used like Indian spices in our food, Cambodian spices in our
Yeah.
food.
Well,
That's
that's
good.
what's so awesome about Lowell, right? To have access to these
The
different,
diverse,
yeah, the
yeah.
the
diversity, different
condiments.
cultures,
Yes.
the
Mhm.
food.
Yeah.
So to be able to put your twist on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we use a lot of cilantro, recao.
Yeah.
Do you still use all that in your
Yeah.
cooking? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really big on garlic. Like
Oh,
I've
too.
I've
Yeah.
always really been big
Yeah.
on garlic. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that utilize garlic, but I'm very big on garlic and oregano for a lot of my cooking.
Mhm.
And I've stuck to more of the, you know, original things like that. Even with sofrito, my family would always make it. Like my grandmother, my cousin got her recipe, and my mom. But I would always be the one to sit there and take a little bit of time and actually dice up los pimientos rojos, los verdes,
Yeah.
la cebolla, and the garlic, the red and green, the
I'm
bell
like,
peppers,
what?
the bell peppers. Sorry, the peppers. I would actually sit there, yeah, and I would be like, and cutting it all up and throw it into the oil with the with the sazon and stuff like that, because I like the way my food tastes when it was fresh. Because a lot of the times the sofrito is pre-made. It's made and then frozen.
Gotcha.
And so this was just for me. This is not across the board. Not many people do that. Some. But, you know, when you take it out of the freezer and you apply it to the oil and all the other good stuff when you're going to chef it up, it tastes a little bit different because it was frozen. So I didn't do it all. I didn't do it like all the time. Of course, I still had some, and I would for the daily cooking. So, and I'm bringing this up for a reason. But for events, I always cut it up so it would be fresh. Do you do that when you're gonna have big events? You cut it up fresh, right? You see?
Yeah, there's times I'd rather stuff that's frozen. You know,
Yeah.
for home.
Exactly.
Like that, but
You're like, for my family, they get
Yeah, for the daily cooking.
Yeah, daily cooking.
Yeah.
It's super time consuming.
Yeah.
It is, things like that's very time consuming, and I think that's something that is huge out here too. That everybody knows, like cook, like all my stuff. Like even for like the pastelillos, which people know like empanadas.
Yeah.
I make my dough. Like we make our
Oh
dough fresh.
wow.
Oh,
Wow.
see, I didn't know that.
Which is
That is super time consuming.
Yeah.
But we make our dough fresh.
Wow.
So when I sold those 500 pastelillos, 600, our dough hours.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
some people were like, "Oh, it's store bought." So I actually took pictures, videos. We were doing it. So people
Yeah.
could see. I was like,
I keep telling you that
It's
everything
homemade.
you do,
Homemade.
make little videos, right?
Yeah.
Make little videos, little snippets, and throw them up there to kind of
all
keep
homemade.
people, you
all
know,
homemade stuff.
informed of what
Yeah.
you do. Really, really important. And a lot of, if you want to, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if I'm crossing a boundary, but isn't he able to send you some of that content?
Yeah,
you
and even
share
if
it?
you're on you're on Instagram,
Yeah.
you can add us as a collaborator, and we'll
Yeah.
just automatically add it to our account, so it'll go to our followers as well.
Market.
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
call it? Marketing. Yeah, it's
Marketing.
marketing.
Oh, yeah,
Exposure,
sure.
exposure,
Yeah,
exposure.
yes. I know when I was saying, we host mixers and our members the host will ask for a referral for catering and stuff. So definitely be
Exactly.
referring you.
And
which is great.
everyone's open now to actually have others cater. Like, they don't have to
Yes.
be Latinos. There'll be people that enjoy pork shoulder or empanadas and they want that at their event. So,
Oh,
they
yeah.
everyone's
Yeah, for sure.
kind of-
And then you said you have all these different machines too
I
for
do.
backyard
Yes,
barbecues.
backyard barbecue, his birthday parties, a machine, buying candy.
So you can
popcorn
have like a little
machines.
carnival.
I'm thinking we should
Like
do
a
something at
little
UNITAS.
festival. Yeah, like a little carnival. Like not a carnival, but like a little
Yeah.
festival type thing. So there's actually, hit me up because there's actually a few events that you might want to be a vendor at. It just kind of crossed my mind right now.
Beauty of it's all right.
Yeah.
Beauty of networking.
Yeah, networking. I'm
I
really
think too,
big
I
on
think it's just-
networking.
I'm very like obviously Hispanic food is kind of my go-to,
Mhm.
but I feel I've been doing this for so long and I've taught myself other.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be my whole thing doing this to this day. I don't want to be that person. Sorry, he can only cook
Yes.
Spanish
Yeah.
food.
I
Yeah.
understand.
I've never wanted to be that person. That's never crossed my mind. I've always been like, all right, if someone calls me, oh, can you do Italian food, French? Can you do Italian? Can you do this? Yeah, I can put them together for you.
So you mentioned you have a wedding. Well, this was off air as well.
Yeah.
We had a lovely conversation off air. Sorry you all missed it. You're doing a wedding in June. So
Yeah.
when somebody calls you up and says, I want to book you for my wedding, is it you sit down and you just kind of talk and come up with a menu together?
I do. There's a lot of places that kind of will be like, all right, well, this is what you got to do.
Exactly. This is what you can
Yeah.
order. Pick 2 of these, 3 of these.
When I started doing this, I was always like, to me personally, the word catering is you're literally playing catering to
You're
that person.
catering to the person.
'Cause I look at it like,
That's exactly
if
what
the
it is.
person doesn't call you, doesn't hire you, guess what?
Yeah.
You don't have a business.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna be like, all right, well, this is what you gotta do. You can go somewhere else. I'm
Yeah.
not- my thing is, we can sit down. If you have something in mind, all I need is just give me an idea of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go Spanish food, if you want to do Italian, if you want to do, just have a bunch of appetizers out, I'll go home. I'll give you a whole list of things to choose from. So you're pretty much what you want. You build your menu. I'm just giving you
Yeah.
options to choose from,
Yep.
and from there you build your menu.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to weddings, every couple wants their wedding to be unique,
Yeah.
different, and reflective of who they are as a couple. It's not like the old cookie cutter weddings. And so hiring you, they really have that capability to
Yeah, and I
have
think
their
a lot
menu
of
be
a lot of
reflective
people
of them.
like that. They're like, oh, I can build my own menu.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah, that's
being
wonderful.
flexible to
Yes.
give them that option because of the culture they
Yeah.
may be,
Yeah.
and that you can actually adapt to that and provide that. That's a plus in
Or a
itself.
lot of couples come from different cultures and they
Oh
want
my
to find
God,
a way
that's
to kind of
correct.
not blend the two, but kind of showcase
Yeah.
Both. That's
both.
absolutely. You're
that's
right.
a
You're
really
right.
great way
For
to
this
do it.
wedding I'm
too.
doing next month, it's in someone's backyard. Doing outdoor theme, obviously backyard,
Yeah.
summertime. So I'm doing backyard barbecue. It's gonna be
So
like
fun.
steak tips, barbecue chicken, but barbecue ribs. So I did the same thing. They gave me 2 ideas of what they wanted to go with, so I literally
Yeah.
sent them 2 different menus. You guys can kind of put them together, choose one, but you
Yeah.
have your options. So I literally will give you option. I'll give you like 5 sides to choose from.
Yep.
I'll give you a bunch of different meats to choose. So you're building your own menu.
Yeah,
The client
that's
builds their own.
great.
Because like I said, to me, you look up the word catering.
That's
That's
exactly
such
what
a
it
great.
is.
I
Yeah.
never thought of it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It's such a great point,
And it's
but
like-
not the way that everybody thinks.
Yeah, and
right?
like I said, it's like they're calling me, they're hiring me.
yeah.
One, I'm appreciative for it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be like, oh well, this is what you got to go with. That's what they want.
Right. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a great way
point,
to
yeah.
look at
Yep.
the business.
Yeah.
Because I mean, your chamber's like big thing is networking, so you have to
Mhm.
make sure that you're doing what you meet their needs. Same thing with me.
I mean,
With real estate, I can't go sell them something else. I gotta sell them
and
real estate.
every client's different, every customer's different, every
Land.
member's different, and so you have to cater to them, right?
Yeah.
And into what their needs are.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that the other thing was
Yeah.
I looked at it like if I have specified menus that I'm doing the same thing over, how is that showing people versatile?
Yeah.
Like if you look at like all my caterings, you might see, all right, he did rice for that party and rice for that party. For everything else, 90% of it is
Mhm.
completely different than what I did for that. Because I never wanted to be like, this is what I'm doing. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at like, all right, so if I keep myself selected in this box, that's all I'm gonna get customers that just want this.
Mhm.
But if I do this, this, and this, and this, then that's gonna bring me more business, more versatile.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
It helps you stand out
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
because there's like, I know a ton of people doing phenomenal things as far as, the Latino community is concerned with small businesses and vendors and pop-ups. And I mean, you have people doing hair, makeup,
Yep.
and just crafts and all that good stuff, as you know. But with food, I know a ton of them, but they are focused. They're laser focused on the area that they're providing, of the food that they're providing, which is okay because that's their expertise, right? And so, again, going back to what you're doing, the capacity you have is across the board. So you just, it's a good thing to have that perspective to make sure that you understand the word cater is to cater to their
Educated to your client, yeah.
Yeah, and then you might have a client that maybe it's a business and every month or every quarter they cater a lunch for their employees. Well, if you only do one thing, then they'll probably once a year get you. But
Yeah,
if
Correct.
you do something different
Exactly.
every month or every quarter, then you get a client for the whole year.
Correct. That's good. Good stuff.
Like I have a catering coming up next month, like a week after I come back. They wanted to select their menu, the menu for them, then they said, "Can you do a taco bar for like 100 people?" Yeah. Sent them a menu, sent them the different options, toppings that they wanted to choose from.
Yeah.
At the end of it,
Awesome.
next month, June 7th, for a credit union.
Oh, awesome.
Look at
Great.
that.
Taco bar. Everybody loves
I know.
it. Can't go wrong.
It's true. I love
Not go wrong with
tacos too.
Is there anything else that the two of you would like to chat about before we?
Anything else you have going on?
Right now, besides some few events that are coming up, as far as things that I want to do, obviously getting myself exposure, especially with the community that I'm trying to get really into that. I've always been like one of those, when you're blessed, you have a chance to press forward, you should. That's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I'm at the point where I can do that, or especially like there, I can give back.
Yep.
I kind of have to, so God willing, the way to go in next year. I have a food out here. And
Oh, awesome.
that's kind of my
That'd
next,
be great.
my next big goal.
Yeah.
I already have plans of, how to go about it, what I need as far as like licenses, all that. Just a matter of getting to that point.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my catering on the back burner either.
Right.
I want to make sure I keep getting this going. Just kind of be like, kind of listed too.
Have you ever talked to Sofan Smith over at E for All?
No,
Because that could potentially be a good program to
someone
go
gave
through
me his
too.
name. Someone from UTEC actually gave me.
Okay, so
So
Sofan,
Fauna's the female. She's still there.
Yeah.
she's still there. Yep,
Okay.
yep. But they have a great program, and then they do pitch contests so they can get some startup seed money, and
So
they
we're
hook you up with
working on.
mentors. So that might be something really good for you to look
Okay.
into.
Yeah, that actually I missed that. I could have, but we're working on a crowdfunding for him.
Oh, cool! Great.
Hopefully that will help him
Yeah,
get the wheels spinning.
Yes.
literally.
Yeah, literally, right? The wheel spinning because he also there's something. See, you can catch on to things as you can, you conduct these interviews, as you know, right? Like he delivers catering to
Yep.
people all the time, so it's important for him to have that access.
Mhm.
So this is what's going to help him to have, a higher scale van or
Yeah.
the food
Yes.
truck to
Great.
expand his territories.
Well, this was so glad you both came on. Thank you, Michelle. You're the
Thank
one that
you.
initiated this, so I'm really
Well,
glad.
I'm all
you
about
did.
interviewing Latinos, as you know.
Yeah, well, let's keep this going.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, anytime you want to come on and
Say no more.
Yes. She'll be here tomorrow. I have another interview.
I have another Latino to interview now.
No, that's
I'll
great.
interview people across the board, but you know how it is. It gets,
Well, no, it's great. It highlights your culture and such a big part of the Lowell community.
Mhm.
It's
Inside
really
Lowell,
important.
we're in
Yes,
here.
yes,
We're in
you're
here
inside Lowell.
too.
Well, thank you both so much. Welcome to the chamber.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Neftaly is one of our newest members. We're so excited to have you. I can't wait to be able to, hook you up with other members and see members using
Yes.
your services. And great.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being on here. Thank you all for watching, listening, however you choose to get this podcast. We appreciate you, and we will be back again sometime soon. Thanks so much.